Once you've decided on your lights, you'll then want to know, how do I wire these together and how exactly does this work? And this part was a little bit confusing when we first got into it. But essentially on the back of your light, you'll have a situation like this, where you'll have a DMX in and a DMX out, as well as a power in and a power out. Each one is set up a little bit differently. Let's talk through each one in specifics. So you'll usually have a DMX in, DMX out, and these will either be 3-pin or 5-pin. Most of the things that are targeted for DJs and for some lower-end commercial things, which is really what churches are, will have 3-pin. And the 3-pin seems to be getting more popular. However, with commercial installations and installed stuff, you oftentimes only find 5-pin. They're actually the same. The 5 pins, really only 3 of them work. And so there isn't a reason that 5-pin is better than 3-pin. And if people try to tell you that one is better than the other, it's really just not true. So 3-pin is just fine. You may need to buy, like I said, buy adapters to be able to convert from 3 to 5 if you need to. Some things will only have 5, only have 3. Some things will actually have both. So you also have power. In this case, this is a more consumer-based power, where it's a computer-type plug, and you just plug this in, and then in this case, this is a little bit of an odd one. You don't see very many with this, where it actually has a regular US plug on the back. A lot of them will have the opposite of the computer plug that you can then plug in. There's another one called PowerCon that again you see on the more commercial fixtures that is round and will plug in and snap. They work really well because they allow you to have a connection that will never pull out. And so there's actually a physical connection. Now the problem is those connections can be very costly. The cables between the different PowerCon connections can be $20 a piece, where these other cables can just be a few dollars. And so be aware of that as you price out your multiple lights, the different kinds of lights you're getting. The connections can become quite costly. So as you're looking at your lights, consider the connections, consider your DMX. Your DMX is going to control your light. It's going to decide, or it's going to tell the light, how should I behave? What color should I turn on? Should I flash? All the different kinds of parameters are coming in through DMX. And what you're going to do is you're going to hook from one DMX fixture to the next. And so you'll hook from your first to your second to your third to your fourth, what they call a daisy chain configuration. So you go one to the next. And so we'll talk a little bit about how to get around some of that in case you have lights in strange places and you can't make a loop. But at the end of the day, it's kind of one big long chain, at least in its most basic sense. There's some ways to do some other things, which we'll discuss. And then for your power, you want to make sure that you consider your power, because you can't put most likely all of your lights on the same power. And I'll talk a little bit about that in another video and how to figure out how many lights you can put on one circuit.